While this is taking place, Britney Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering. This is disruptive. It's not allowing us to play the game. This is her quote. I don't know if you saw this or not when she gave that.
Patrick Bet-David may have just delivered the most savage reality check in the history of podcasts. The entire discussion erupted around the 41-minute mark when Britney Griner made some outrageous remarks about Caitlin Clark, remarks laced with subtle, racially charged overtones. What's going on with the WNBA? The league seems completely unprepared for the tidal wave of attention, criticism, and energy it's receiving. But PBD wasn't playing along. He didn't hold back. He brought up Griner's time in a Russian prison and completely dismantled her complaints about crowd noise. His comeback was ruthless, and honestly, watching him explain why she should be grateful for any attention the WNBA is getting was more satisfying than even the prison reference. Let's talk about it honestly. On Patrick Bet-David's podcast, Britney Griner got the reality check of her life. She was out here complaining about loud fans and dropping subtle racial jabs toward Caitlin Clark. She said, "Yeah, right there, watch this. Every time we play her, there's this loud rumbling from the stands, and it turns out thousands of people are just sitting there watching." But PBD wasn't having it. He reminded her of some very uncomfortable truths she seemed to have forgotten during her time away from basketball. It all started with Griner making the completely ridiculous comment that the WNBA used to be this peaceful, quiet place, so quiet you could bring a laptop and get some work done during the game. Think about that. A professional athlete, in a pro league, complaining that fans are now too loud and too engaged during games. The audacity is almost beyond belief. And it gets worse. Griner's entire statement revealed a mindset that is completely disconnected from reality. She said the WNBA used to be a chill, quiet place, where you could relax and maybe even get a little work done. But now? Now, according to her, there are crowds, people watching from the stands, some of them yelling, putting unfair pressure on the players to perform, as if they're there just for entertainment. Spoiler alert, they are. Here's the exact quote from her rant. Used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, there are these large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling, crazy about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score. Like we're there for their entertainment. The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling. I couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism. That's right, light racism. Griner literally claimed she couldn't hear what the fans were yelling, but assumed it was either a criticism of her game or racism. That single phrase, light racism, perfectly sums up the warped way she views this entire issue. Instead of understanding that loud fans are part of the game, her first assumption is that it's racially motivated. And PBD didn't let her off the hook. He bluntly reminded everyone that Britney Griner was locked up in a Russian prison not long ago, on serious charges and had to be brought home through a high-level prisoner swap involving a dangerous individual, Victor Bout, a notorious arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. Think about what that means. The US government traded someone convicted of trying to kill Americans and aiding terrorists just to bring her home. And now? Griner responds to her freedom and the chance to play basketball again by complaining about cheering fans and crowd energy? You'd think someone who was imprisoned abroad would have a whole new perspective on freedom, gratitude, and opportunity. But no, PBD's remarks were cutting, and they were 100% accurate. The fact that Griner finds crowd enthusiasm unsettling rather than inspiring only proves how out of touch she's become. The WNBA is seeing unprecedented attention. For the first time in 25 years, the league is projecting a $1 billion valuation. And why is that happening? Because of Caitlin Clark. And that's where Griner's comments become especially offensive. She's criticizing the very thing, crowd, that is bringing her and every other player more money than they've ever seen. The racial undertones in her remarks make the situation even worse. They expose the real reason some WNBA players are having an issue with Clark's success. The attention, the fanfare, the media hype, it's all going toward a young white player, while black players in the WNBA have gone largely unnoticed for years, despite their accomplishments. But here's the truth. Yes, race might play a part. But Caitlin Clark has the talent to back it up. Patrick Bet-David didn't shy away from this. He acknowledged the racial dynamic and still pointed out the reality. Caitlin Clark is good. Very good. She finished 4th in MVP voting in just her second season. She plays an exciting, aggressive style of basketball that translates perfectly to TV. She has the kind of competitive fire asterisk that casual fans crave. Meanwhile, WNBA players say they want to grow their salaries and that the league is on track for $1 billion season. But look at what happened the second Caitlin Clark got injured. Ticket prices crashed. Let's break down what PBD shared in the podcast. According to Yahoo Sports via TickPick, after Clark's injury, ticket prices for 2 Indiana Fever away games dropped dramatically. For the Fever's game against the Chicago Sky, the cheapest ticket went from $86 to $25. For the game against the Washington Mystics, prices dropped from $41 to $14. That's not a small change. That's a market collapse, all because Clark wasn't playing. The truth is simple, Clark is the draw. Remove her, and interest plummets. Let's be honest, most WNBA games over the last 24 years were played in nearly empty arenas. And players were comfortable with that. There was no pressure. No accountability. No expectations. Now everything's changed, and some of them can't handle it. The league lost money for 25 straight years because many of its players acted like the games were casual pickup runs, not professional entertainment. And PBD's response was powerful because it brought everyone back to reality. He didn't allow Griner to spin this into a victim narrative or make it about race. He made it about facts. Griner's description of the old WNBA as a place where fans could bring laptops and do work explains exactly why the league was irrelevant for so long. And her complaints about fan engagement and noise just show how unprepared some players are for what real popularity feels like.